Welcome to Lecture 4. We will carry on from where we stopped with Chapter 3 series of lectures, and now focus on Chapter 4 of the Axilos Prince 2 Agile Manual. Chapter 4 focuses on the Prince 2 journey when using Agile. In this chapter we will see how Prince 2 Agile keeps the Prince 2 journey intact pre-project, initiation, stages, closure, but enriches each part with Agile values. From rigid documentation to responsive planning. From command and control to collaboration and empowerment. From predictive delivery to incremental value creation. It's a marriage of control and flexibility. Structure meets adaptability. Example is seen in construction of a smart building using iterative delivery of digital systems. The key idea here is that how you tailor Prince 2 depends on your project context. There's no one-size-fits-all approach, but there are common examples that work in many situations. Prince 2 provides a process model for managing a project. These processes are scalable and tailorable, meaning you can adjust them to fit the size, complexity, and type of your project. The processes consist of a set of activities designed to direct, manage, and deliver the project. As you can see in the lifecycle, pre-project laying the groundwork, initiation stage getting ready to deliver, subsequent stages the main delivery phases, final stage wrapping up the project, post-project reviewing outcomes, and lessons learned. Even when Agile is applied, this lifecycle remains the backbone, with Agile techniques embedded within the stages. Think of the Prince 2 journey like a road trip. Pre-project is planning your route. Initiation is packing and preparing. Subsequent stages are the main journey. The final stage is arriving at your destination. And post-project is looking back at the trip to see what you learned. Agile practices are like taking scenic detours. Along the way they help you adapt without losing the route. Let's start at the very beginning, the pre-project phase. Every project starts with an idea or a need. This could come from a new business objective, competitive pressure, legislation changes, or recommendations from a report or audit. In Prince 2, this initial trigger is called the project mandate. It comes from the commissioning organization. This could be corporate management, a program office, or the customer, and it might be anything from a simple verbal instruction to a detailed project definition. Before you dive into scoping and planning, it's critical to check that the project is worthwhile and viable. These early activities are handled in their starting up a project process, which produces two key documents. Project brief outlines what the project is about. Stage plan for project initiation details the next steps for the initiation stage. Finally, the project board reviews the project brief and decides whether to go ahead, including the level of authority delegated to the project manager for the initiation stage. Once the decision is made to move forward, we enter the initiation stage. This is where the project is planned in detail, funding is secured, and appropriate controls are established to satisfy both the people paying for the project and those who will use its deliverables. Then initiating a project process covers planning and establishing project management approaches and controls, developing a robust business case, defining a means to review benefits at the same time, then managing a stage boundary. Process is used to plan the next stage of the project in detail. The initiation stage ends with the creation of the project initiation documentation (PID). The project board reviews the PID to decide whether to authorize the project. Since the PID may change over time under change control, this version is preserved as a baseline for future performance reviews. Chapter 4 focuses on the Prince 2 journey when using Agile. Now let's see how pre-project and initiation activities typically work in an Agile context. At the project level, planning focuses on sets of features and intended releases rather than trying to define everything up front. This helps us stay flexible and responsive. Engagement is key. All levels of the team are involved in planning and estimating, which helps improve accuracy and buy-in. At the stage level, planning is done collaboratively with the customer, ensuring we meet their real needs and deliver the maximum benefit. Plans are always time-boxed. This might be a fixed interval like 2-week sprints, or a flow-based approach over a longer period. The goal is to plan just enough detail to manage uncertainties while still moving forward effectively. Let's look at behaviors during the pre-project and initiation stage when using Agile. First, self-organizing teams and people-centric values like empowerment can be explicitly built into the project approach. This encourages ownership and accountability across the team. Second, the use of specific Agile methods, such as Scrum or Kanban, may also be mandated. or recommended as part of the project approach, providing clear guidance while leaving room for adaptation. Finally, the project initiation documentation, PID, can be created collaboratively, often in a workshop setting. This ensures the team is quickly informed, engaged, and has a shared sense of ownership from the very start. Now let's look at the process perspective during the pre-project and initiation stage when using Agile. First, the project defines what constitutes a minimum viable product, MVP. This ensures everyone is aligned on what must be delivered first to generate value. Second, the project trigger may come from a product roadmap, giving a clear view of priorities and strategic alignment. Finally, there may be guidance on the appropriate use of Agile for the project, helping the team understand how much and which Agile practices to apply depending on the context. Let's focus now on the product's perspective in the pre-project and initiation stage with Agile. First, the project product description is defined early to clarify which requirements are mandatory and which are optional. This helps everyone focus on delivering what really matters. Second, the product description is usually outcome-based, emphasizing the value delivered rather than a fixed solution. Third, product descriptions are often captured as user stories or epics, but we expect that more requirements will emerge throughout the project. Finally, the business case is flexible, allowing the amount and value of what is being delivered to adapt as the project evolves. Continuing with the product's perspective in an Agile context, the benefits management approach focuses on delivering value regularly and as early as possible. This means clearly describing what products will be delivered, when, and what value they enable. The PID in Agile projects is often less formal because much of the baseline information is visible through information radiators like task boards or dashboards. The PID will also be less detailed in areas such as product descriptions, since the solution may not be fully defined at the start. Remember, the PID is a living document. It evolves throughout the project but is still baseline for reference. Finally, the communication management approach is created as minimum viability. Documentation and communication are kept to the minimum acceptable level, enough to ensure quality without unnecessary overhead. Let's quickly cover some key Agile terms you'll see in Prince 2 Agile. Use a story, a simple way to capture a requirement using who, what, and why. It keeps requirements user-focused. Epic, a high-level requirement that isn't fully defined yet. Over time, it's broken down into smaller user stories as more details emerge. Information radiator, any visible board or wall that displays project information, like what to do or progress. It keeps the team aligned and informed at a glance. Just think of an epic as a big idea for a movie, user stories as individual scenes, and an information radiator as the storyboard everyone can see. Thank you for listening. Please drop your questions or any further comments in the chat before continuing with the next lecture. See you in the next lecture.